And good morning. We got you. After some internal conversations with my guest yesterday, Mr. Tracy Gerlinghouse, Parish Councilman from District 7. Thank you again for joining me, sir. And some conversations with my fiance, we have decided to keep the morning show and we're going to do an afternoon show. We're going to give you both for the time being, and we're going to see how both fare, how they grow, how they do with you, our audience, and we appreciate you being with us this morning. A few minutes late, had a little hardware trouble getting my microphone hooked back up appropriately, but here I am. I am McHugh David. I'm publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining me this morning. We are on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find these shows as well as our long-form podcasts at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. Had a great one yesterday with Mr. Tracy Gerlinghouse. Talked for almost an hour about him becoming a parish councilman, what he's done, what's going on, those sorts of things. Check it out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. I also would like to bring up, we use Anchor FM to distribute our podcast, and we're putting it out just about everywhere. As I've mentioned before, Apple Podcast is being a little difficult, but we're going to work through that. This morning, tough morning on the roads, folks. I am sorry. Major delays at the Denham Springs exit at I-12 heading westbound. Delays stacked up past O'Neill, almost to Sherwood. Almost to Millerville. Delays heading right near 61, which would be Airline Highway, on I-12 going west, and delays heading into the 10-12 split. Also delays on 190 at 4-H Club Road, and no real delays on 64 heading into Central. So if that is an accident on I-12 heading westbound, heading on one of those surface streets may be a better choice for you. Currently 77 degrees here at 7:35 in the morning. 92 is your high, so not too bad. Your high may be around 98, 99 with the heat index. Chance of afternoon thunderstorms at about 40%. A reminder, we've talked about this before, we have a partnership with brproud.com, which is NBC 33 WVLA and Fox 44 WGMB. Fox is in a bit of a row at the moment with DirecTV and AT&T. You can't get it. If you have DirecTV or AT&T, please call 1-800-288-2020. Might not affect you now, but if you are a Saints fan, that will affect you in the fall. So go ahead and give that number a call. Again, it's 1-800-288-2020. So let's jump on in. A quick mention, if you are interested in Leadership Livingston, which is a great program through the Chamber. I am a 2014 graduate of that program. The deadline to sign up is today, July 18th, by EOB end of business. Again, if you are interested in Leadership Livingston, which is a great program, sign up is by end of business today, July 18th. North Shore Technical and Community College, they are on track. I met with them yesterday. There'll be a story coming out about their initial offerings on coursework on our website. That's www.livingstonparishnews.com. It's $5 a month. We promise it's not $5 an article. Please sign up. They are on track to open in the fall, to start accepting students. You can apply now at NTCC. Let me make sure I have that right. NTCC, NorthShoreCollege.edu. NorthShoreCollege.edu is where you can sign up. We'll have more information coming to you this morning online, and it'll probably be in Sunday's paper. They're trying to push people to sign up. It is a community college. It'll be located at the Literacy and Technology Center, which is also undergoing a rebrand itself through Southeastern. So a lot of interesting college offerings coming to the Livingston Parish area. So we'll keep you informed on those. Keep your eye on them. North Corbin Avenue is going to be closed a lot. over the next few weeks as DOTD is replacing cross-drain pipes and catch basins, which means they got to rip up the road. So anybody that is using or normally uses Corbin Avenue or Highway 1029 in the Walker area, you will need to find a alternate route for the next few weeks as they replace those cross drains and catch basins. We mentioned briefly yesterday, but I didn't want to take up too much time. Excuse me. I didn't want to take up too much of my guest's time. U.S. Senators Bill Cassidy, who is a doctor, and John Kennedy have introduced a reauthorization and reformation of the National Flood Insurance Program. They introduced that on Tuesday. You can read all about it, www.livingstonparishnews.com. It's also in our Thursday paper, which came out today. Pretty brief overview of the high points that it hits. It's another 5-year renewal as they see, and it'll work its way through the legislative process. It'll be another 5-year renewal. They have until September 30th to pass it. And they're going to wait and see how the reformation goes in terms of finances. Solvency of the NFIP it has been the big question. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But again, that's Senators Bill Cassidy and John Kennedy who have introduced a reformation and reauthorization for the National Flood Insurance Program. Cane's opened in Walker. Todd Graves was there. He came to the opening. He brought his dog, Raising Cane. I believe they're on the 3rd. And it was just a party. It was a party in Walker. A lot of excitement. They gave out a lot of free food to a lot of people. So I know a lot of folks from Walker were excited to get out there, get their food, have some fun. It was definitely a party. We've got a story up at www.livingstonparishnews.com. Ran some photos on Facebook. You can check it out there. A New York Times best-selling author visited the Livingston Parish Library. Her name is Claudia Gray, but she started off as Amy Vincent. But she was 6 years old when she saw her first Star Wars movie, and she has since penned a whole lot of Star Wars novels. And if you're a geek like me, that's pretty cool. And so she visited the library. You can read about that. The story is from Mr. David Gray, who's always killing it in the lifestyle area. Maurepas has named a new basketball coach. His name is Garrett Stewart. He was the school's junior high coach, and he is now taken a step up after previous coach Anton Schwartz resigned due to family concerns. I don't know how many of you are into football and watched football, but the SEC had their media days early in the week. Everybody got to hear Joe Burrow talk about the 7 overtime game against A&M where he eventually collapsed and stuff like that. Well, Southeastern is coming up, okay? That will be Thursday in Houston at the Galleria. So that's today, and you can hear from, let's see, it looks like defensive end, oh my goodness, Isaac Adeyemi Berglund. Hope I didn't butcher that. Chasson Virgil and head coach Frank Selfo all made the trip. You can check them out on the Lions Radio Network. That will start at 9 a.m. It goes from 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock today. Again, that's Southeastern Football is at Media Days in the Houston Galleria from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. today. Let's see. And that looks to be about it. So let me please remind you that today is that deadline. Also, I do want to bring up, I wrote a column for this Thursday's paper that talks about Facebook. We had a lot of interesting comments as we were covering the Barry saga. Because of the way the algorithm works, some of the information was not reaching people on time. Or by the time it did reach them, it was inaccurate. We had a poor lady from Walker get the flood levels from Thursday evening, Sunday morning, when they were supposed to be reduced. So it looked bad. So please understand how Facebook works. Facebook wants to deliver the news that it thinks that you want. That's how your timeline works, unless you know how to set it up for most recent post first, which is how I have it set up. So we ask that you pay attention whenever you see stories from us. If you look at the top of the post, it'll have our logo and our little name, Livingston Parish News. Right under that, it'll tell you when it was posted. It's little gray letters, and it'll give you a date, and it'll even give you a time. We are working hard to try to disseminate as much information as we can. We do have a free section online. It's called Breaking News. All of the Barry news that we had was in Breaking News. We wanted to get it out there. We wanted the information in front of you. We wanted it for free. On that note, we also recommend that you download our app. You can find it in the Google Play Store or in iTunes. I'm not sure what it is, if not iTunes anymore, the App Store for Apple. And, we do push notifications. If you're not interested in a story or anything like that, we totally get it. Just swipe it off your screen. But we are trying to push those kinds of breaking news. And we do, these are free, and we push them out via the app later in the day. And, of course, with the afternoon show, we'll push that later in the evening. We do have breaking news and those sorts of things that will be important. They're important to you. Traffic, road work, arrests, looking for suspects, those sort of things. So please check out our app. If you are a heavy Facebook user, but you're looking for breaking news, we've got a lot of Livingston Parish breaking news for you. And sometimes there are pieces of news that would normally go under the news headline, which would be paid for, that we put in breaking for a wide variety of reasons. It just kind of depends on what's going on and the level of importance. But please remember that Facebook is delivering information to you when it feels like you want it, based on your preferences and the algorithm. There are pieces of it that are imposed upon us. For instance, we have about 24,000 likes on our page. Whenever we post something, we are exposed to 1% of that audience. That post is exposed to 1% of that audience. And if it's picked up, then it grows. If it's not picked up, then it doesn't grow. And we have no control over that 1% of audience in which it's delivered to. So we ask you to pay attention to that. Please give us some likes and shares. We know that the $5 a month thing isn't popular, but that was an attempt to stymie some subscription decline in the print after the flood. We know that the parish is still in recovery mode, but we're doing our best to bring you the good news of Livingston Parish. We do appreciate your participation. Again, thank you. Sorry for that somber note at the end of this story. Where's a lifestyle story I can talk about real quick? Here we go. There's an arts and entertainment story online from David Gray about some young artists creating some images of summer during a summer art camp. They were great, fun, very fun pictures. Those kids are great artists. Please check it out. www.livingstonparishnews.com/arts_and_entertainment. Also, we're using a new calendar form. We're going to be rolling it out today. It's date-based, so it won't be like when we were coming up and just putting it online. You can check events by date and look at them and see how they're going and what time they're at and that sort of thing, and if there's any cost. Again, enjoyed our visit yesterday with Parish Councilman Tracy Girlinghouse. And I am sorry, folks, my dog is in here with me, and she was trying to play with my phone. That's why you wiggled a little bit. Thank you, Tracy Girlinghouse, Parish Councilman from District 7, for joining us yesterday. We talked about the master plan in the morning show. We went real deep on just being a parish councilman. In a podcast, you can check both of those out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We are going to do a morning show. We're keeping the morning show and an afternoon show. When the afternoon show comes, will be a surprise. Be on the lookout for it. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. We're posting content to those platforms every day. We appreciate you checking it out. And again, my name is McHugh David. I am publisher and editor of the news. Thank you for joining me of another edition of the Livingston Parish News Daily Show. We will be back at you this afternoon.